What's up, y'all? It's Tomy here, back with another video. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can guarantee wealth for your family in case something were to ever happen to you. Okay, so if that's something that interests you, be sure you stay tuned. Now the gist of what I'm talking about here in this video is going to have to do with getting insurance, more specifically life insurance. I think that we all look at, we get insurance for different things, right? You got health insurance to protect your health, you got insurance for your car, home, things like that, but we don't think about our own lives. Now I think this is huge, especially for anyone who's looking to build actual generational wealth, right? You got to look at yourself almost as an asset, right? And that's kind of how I've been looking at it myself as well. Is, I'm in a situation where I'm working to build something for my family. What would happen if something were to happen to me, right? What kind of situation would that put them in, right? Especially if I'm in a process of building and I haven't gotten to the point where everything's completely built out. So that's kind of what I always try to keep in mind for myself. Now, basically, if you're not familiar with life insurance, what it is pretty much just an insurance policy on your life, right? If anything were to happen to you, or if something were to go wrong and you were to lose your life, then your beneficiaries would receive a payment out from the insurance company based on whatever is stipulated out in your policy. Okay, now of course you can, we're going to deep dive into, I'll talk about why you should get it, how much insurance you should get, and what are places that you can go to get this type of insurance, and we'll deep dive into all that here. Now right off the bat, I think there's like a few different reasons why you should get insurance. The biggest thing is if you're the main producer, right? You're the one who's making the most of the money in your family, or you're supporting a lot of people. That's going to be right off the bat like a situation where you need to be the one to get it. I think it's kind of like you're hanging your dependents out to dry if you don't have an insurance policy. Just to be completely honest with it, that's kind of the way I look at it, right? And I think that, if you're in a situation where, let's say, for example, you just got recently married, right? Then you might be in a situation where it works out for you. Maybe if you're about to have, or you have children, that's going to be a huge one, right? Making sure that your children are taken care of if anything were to happen to you or your spouse or your loved one, okay? Maybe you support your aging parents financially, right? So that could be, maybe your parents took care of you and now you want to return the favor. You're taking care of them. Maybe they live with you, whatever the situation is, right? But they rely on you financially. Then that's going to be a good situation for you to get it. Another one is if you have a job that's high risk, right? Where, debts are more common in your field, or it's just what you're doing specifically with your job is pretty risky, right? I'm doing things where I'm traveling and I'm trying out different, things, whether it's, it's kind of like I'm doing more adventurous type stuff, then there is going to be a certain risk that's associated with it to keep in mind. Especially if you have extreme hobbies. So if you're doing, I don't know, like parasailing or something, I don't know, those type of things where it's a lot riskier than someone who just sits at home and is just doing like your typical sports, right? Basketball, football, or those typical types of sports, then there's something else that you might want to think about getting life insurance as well. Okay, now, another thing is if you have certain types of debts that do transfer over to your next of kin. This is huge. Or if you have co-signers on your debt. These are two things that a lot of people don't really think about. Is like, if you're in a situation where you have debts that transfer, I want to say, I'm not sure if student loans do it, but there are certain types of debts that actually just pass on to your beneficiary. So whoever receives your estate, they're also going to receive that debt that comes along with the estate. Okay, so that's a good time whenever you want to get life insurance, and especially if you have co-signers. You don't want to leave someone co-sign something for you, whether it's like a house or student loans, whatever it is. You don't want to leave, if you pass away, that debt just gets shifted over to them, right? And you don't want to leave them in a situation where they're having to pay it off on your debt, right? So, or on your death. So you want to just make sure that you have some sort of policy in place that can at least cover that, right? And another one is owning a business. If you're running a business, especially if you're like a true solopreneur, right? You're running a business that relies heavily on you. Once you pass away, it's like the business isn't really going to be able to continue, right? So you might be in a situation where, you want to at least have a policy that can help your family continue to live their lives at the same level that they're at least for a couple years. That way they can adjust to you not being there anymore. And that kind of jumps perfectly into my next point, is how much life insurance should you really get? I think that's really going to depend on, what your income is and what kind of lifestyle that that you're currently living. It's recommended that you get 10 to 15 times your income, and the reason being is however much you're making in a year. Let's say that you make $50,000 a year. At minimum, you want to get a $500,000 policy, and the idea behind that is, with the policy that way, your family can live the same type of lifestyle for the next 10 years at least, right? So it gives them 10 years to kind of take that next step or journey, or be able to find a way to replace that income once the policy has elapsed, right? Once they've spent all the money for that policy. Now, in terms of actual coverage, I've seen that you can get, and speaking, when I'm talking about life insurance, guys, just to reiterate is, I'm talking about term life. I'm not talking about like whole life or universal life, all those other techniques. I'm talking about strictly term life. I think that's where it's the most beneficial because it's so cheap, right? For example, I've seen policies as low as $20, $30 a month for like $1 million policy. And of course, they're going to base that off of how healthy you are. They're going to ask you certain questions. Do you smoke? This, that, and the other, right? And they, do you have pre-existing conditions? Things like that. So they're going to ask you questions about your health, your lifestyle, and then use that to base off of how much they charge you. So I've seen them get as low as $20, $30, and that's for $1 million policy. So I think that's a great plus. And another thing that I would say you'd want to look at is, nowadays you can do it from your phone. So, I think there's a few different routes. You can, go to different life insurance companies and just fill out a form and have them reach out to you. I think probably the easiest thing, and I wish I would have done this when I was going through this process, is just using different apps. Like there's, for example, a company called Ladder, and you can literally apply through them and do everything just over, like on their app, right, through their phone or through your phone. So you don't have to worry about, having a call, do interviews, and then have someone come to you, or you have to go out to do like a medical appointment or a medical exam, things like that, right? It can get pretty hectic and pretty tedious. So yeah, definitely I recommend you check out Ladder. I'm gonna link to them down below so you can check out their website and be able to get more information on that as well, okay? So that's gonna be pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope that at least changed your perspective on life insurance and kind of gave you guys a different idea of how to think about it. I think when it comes to your financial picture as a whole, I think life insurance is gonna be a key part of it, is a cornerstone of it, especially whenever you're just starting off. So if you're someone who's looking to build wealth, or you have people who depend on you, then you wanna make sure that you have life insurance in place just to protect them in case anything were to happen to you, down the line, right? I know it's something that no one wants to look forward to. No one wants to like prepare for their death, but it's just, I look at it as something that's critical, especially for if I have some people who are dependent on me, okay? So that's gonna be the gist of it for this video, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, whatever it is, comment it down below. The comments also, if you are, if you have any other videos that you'd like to see me shoot, be sure you throw it in the comments as well. I'll be sure to check it out. And also be sure that you like this video if you found value in it, and hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of my future videos. Alrighty, so that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I'll see you at the next one. Peace.